This, O my best beloved, is a story, a new and a wonderful story. Story quite different from the other stories. A story about the most wise sovereign Suleiman-bin-Daoud. Solomon, the son of David. There are 355 stories about Suleiman-bin-Daoud. But this is not one of them. It is not the story of the lapwing who found the water, or the huku who shaded Suleiman-bin-Daoud from the heat. It is not the story of the glass pavement, or the ruby with the crooked hole, or the gold bars of Balkis. It is the story of the butterfly that stamped. Now attend all over again and listen. Suleiman-bin-Daoud was wise. He understood what the beasts said, what the birds said, what the fishes said, and what the insects said. He understood what the rocks said deep under the earth when they bowed in towards each other and groaned. And he understood what the trees said when they rustled in the middle of the morning. He understood everything, from the bishop on the bench to the hyssop on the wall, and Balkis, his head queen, the most beautiful Queen Balkis, was nearly as wise as he was. Suleiman-bin-Daoud was strong. Upon the third finger of the right hand he wore a ring. When he turned it once, Afrits and jinns came out of the earth to do whatever he told them. When he turned it twice, fairies came down from the sky to do whatever he told them. And when he turned it 3 times, the very great angel, Azrael of the sword, came dressed as a water carrier and told him the news of the 3 worlds, above, below, and here. And yet Suleiman-bin-Daoud was not proud. He was very humble. He never boasted. He was very kind and courteous to all his wives, as well as to his generals and his officers and his servants, and to all the peoples of his land. But he was very, very tired of his wives, who were always quarrelling. One day, when they were quarrelling more than usual, Suleiman-bin-Daoud went out for a walk in his palace garden. He had left all his 999 other wives quarrelling in the palace, and he had taken Balkis with him because she was the only one of his wives that he could have a peaceful conversation with. Of course, if he had chosen to turn his ring on his finger and made them all be quiet, he could have done so. But he was a wise man, and he knew that if he did that they would be twice as troublesome the next minute. So he walked in the sunshine with Balkis, his head queen, on a marble pavement that was all cracked and split with grass growing up between the cracks. And he said to her, "O my lady and light of my eyes, turn the ring upon my finger and summon the jinns and the Afrits to mend this pavement for us. For I am weary of listening to the quarrels of my wives." But Balkis said, "O my lord and treasure of my soul, remember that if you call the jinns and the Afrits, they will probably see you looking so tired and sad, and they will go and tell my mother, who will then be very worried about you, and she will send you messages every day for a year." Suleiman-bin-Daoud said, "My lady and jewel of my heart, then do not turn the ring. Let us walk here and talk, for I am very tired." And Balkis said, "O my lord and my best beloved, you are very, very wise. Tell me something that is new and wonderful." And Suleiman-bin-Daoud said, "My lady and content of my life, there is no new thing under the sun." Then they saw a little butterfly with beautifully colored wings, who was fluttering about in the sunshine and talking to his wife. His wife was sitting on a lily pad in a small pool of water as she was fanning herself with one of her wings. Suleiman-bin-Daoud and Balkis stopped to listen to them. The butterfly said, "Do you believe me when I tell you that if I stamp my foot, the palace of Suleiman-bin-Daoud and all his gardens will disappear in a puff of smoke?" His wife, the little lady butterfly, said, "I do not believe you. I know you are a great boaster. You are always saying things like that. Stamp your foot now and let me see." And Suleiman-bin-Daoud heard this, and he smiled. And he said to Balkis, "Did you hear that, my lady and delight of my life? This little butterfly is boasting that he can make my palace disappear with a stamp of his foot." And Balkis said, "Yes, my lord and giver of my daily bread, he is a very foolish little butterfly. He should be more careful with his words." Then the little butterfly, who had not seen Suleiman-bin-Daoud and Balkis, flew up into the air and began to circle around them, still boasting. "I will stamp," he cried. "I will stamp, and you shall see the end of everything." Suleiman-bin-Daoud held up his hand. "O butterfly," he said, "I have heard what you said. Now stamp your foot." The little butterfly was very frightened. He flew down and sat on Suleiman-bin-Daoud's hand. "O king," he said, "live forever." "I was only joking. My wife was teasing me, and I wanted to show her how important I am." Suleiman-bin-Daoud laughed. "O little brother," he said, "do not be afraid. I am not angry with you. But you must not boast like that. For one day you might meet someone who is not as kind as I am. Then the lady butterfly flew up from her lily pad and came and sat beside her husband on Suleiman-bin-Daoud's hand. She said, "O king, live forever. He is always like this. He is always boasting. But he is a good husband to me, and I love him very much." And Suleiman-bin-Daoud said to her, "O little sister, I understand. I have 999 wives who are always quarreling, and sometimes I wish I could stamp my foot and make them all disappear. But I am a wise king, and I know that would not be the right thing to do." Then he turned to the butterfly and said, "Now, go and live happily with your wife. And do not boast any more. For it is better to be humble and wise than to be proud and foolish." And the little butterfly and his wife flew away together, very happy. And Balkis said, "O my lord and master of my life, you are indeed the wisest of all men. You have taught even a little butterfly a valuable lesson." And Suleiman-bin-Daoud said, "My lady and crown of my head, it is not I who have taught him a lesson. It is his own foolishness that has taught him. For every creature, great or small, must learn for itself the difference between what is real and what is not." Then Suleiman-bin-Daoud looked at the cracked pavement and smiled again. "Perhaps," he said, "it is not so important to have a perfect pavement. Perhaps it is more important to have a peaceful heart." And he took Balkis's hand, and they walked on together in the sunshine, listening to the birds singing and the bees buzzing. And for the rest of the day, Suleiman-bin-Daoud did not think about his 999 quarreling wives at all. He was content to be with his one wise queen and to enjoy the simple beauty of his garden. And that, "Oh my best beloved," is the story of the butterfly that stamped. It is a story to remember when you feel like boasting or when you are tired of the quarrels of others. For it teaches us that wisdom is not about having power over others, but about having power over ourselves. It is about knowing when to speak and when to be silent, when to act and when to be still. And most of all, it is about finding joy in the small and simple things of life, just like Suleiman-bin-Daoud found joy in a conversation with a little butterfly and his wife. Thank you so much for listening to this wonderful tale. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more classic stories. We love bringing these timeless narratives to life for you. Until next time, take care.